Hey, this is Charlotte with photohacklovers.com, and today I'm going to bring you a liquid ink text effect tutorial. So I haven't really I don't think I've done any typography tutorials. So I wanted to step on that because I do put out a lot of text effects, and I sell a lot of Photoshop patterns that I use as text effects. So I think it would be good for people to see some of the work that I have done with the typography. So you can create the same effect. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's actually very simple. I have created, sourced from original photos, ink drop photos, and so you can purchase those on my website, and I'll provide a link below. Or you can use your own source files. That's totally up to you. The pack does come with 45 free smoke brushes, as well as 38 Photoshop patterns in various different colors and assortments. I can show you really quickly. Just one second here. I'm just gonna delete this. And so I'm just gonna show you all of the different patterns that you get starting from the beginning. So these are quite massive. And what I like about patterns is that you can move them around however you like. You can scale them to fit. And another thing I have for you is that I have 16 by 16 300 DPI JPEG files. So if you want to create a clipping mask from something that you've typed out, pretty sure that most people will not have a text that's larger than 16 by 16. So that is something that you can do as well if you're not into Photoshop patterns. So I think the setting that I like is 17. And if you ever get like messed up, you can always click snap to origin, and that will take you back to the original resolution if you go too far. But that looks pretty good. So these are pretty cool looking, and I'm gonna show you this effect here in a minute, but I just wanted to show you everything that you get in the Photoshop patterns pack with all the ink. It's so cool. And if it doesn't fit your text, the beauty about this is that you can move it around. If you have Photoshop styles, you know you can't do that. So that's why I don't like Photoshop styles. Because I am always agitated when I get a Photoshop style and you see how it's cutting text off right here. Well, what if you wanted to move it? You can't do that with Photoshop styles. You just gotta pretty much live with it. You can also scale it up and down here, and you can also when you do a stroke, you can do different elements here, but with this you can actually put a stroke on a pattern. I don't think that you can really do that with styles. So, and this one is one of my favorite. It reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. I don't know, flamingos or something like that, but one's nice. That one's my daughter's favorite. I really like this one too. It's very pink. It's like Pepto-Bismol pink. This one came out really psychedelic. I like the colors together. You would never think that that blue and that kind of like peach color would go together, but they do. It's interesting. This is something different. So I'm going to leave it like that because we're going to be working with this particular file. And I'm using a font called Emoji Typeface, which I got off the Creative Market. You can, however, use whatever typeface that you want. It should work. Like I said, you have the Photoshop patterns, so you can use them how you will. If you want to, I can show you how to use a clipping mask. So to use a clipping mask, you would just use one of the files here. Sorry, my mouse is acting weird. You would just grab this file, just press Control A, Control C, and go over to your document. And I'm going to delete this style, clear layer style, so I can show you. And I'm going to just create a new layer and press Control V. And then I'm going to rasterize my type, Control click, and then select, where is it? Right, clipping mask. Oops, I think I did it backwards. Okay, I know what I did wrong. And you have to select it to affect it. It's a little bit tricky. So you're going to Control click on the text here, okay? But you're not going to select the text layer. You're going to select the pink styles layer, okay? And then you're going to go to Layer, Create Clipping Mask, okay? And just press Control D. Now you might want to scale this down a little bit. You can see your bounding blocks here. You can scale it all the way down to fit your text. And then you can just move it around however you like. And that is the creative clipping mask type way. And I don't know, I don't really like that way that much better. That's why I forgot how to do that. I'm not particularly fond of this way, and I'll show you why. I'm gonna duplicate this layer. Actually, I can just type it out again. Whoops. Now, why my background is moving around, because I didn't lock the layer. I do apologize. I haven't had much sleep. Just working. Okay, so this is why I like the Photoshop patterns. I'm going to type out inked again. I'm going to scale it up. With a clipping mask there, I don't know, it doesn't look as good or crisp as the pattern. It just depends on what you're using it for. I mean, it could very well. Well, I'm going to be doing the pattern overlay now. And I'm going to snap it to the origin. And look how much better it looks. To me, it looks much better. I'm going to scale it up a little bit because it doesn't look like the same size. Okay. And then you will notice that every time you move your text around with the pattern, and every time you make changes, the pattern will move too as well. So if you don't want that to happen, you can oh my gosh, I have my caps on. If you don't want that to happen, you can actually just rasterize the layer, and then it won't do it anymore. So that looks pretty good. Now, one thing I don't like about this typeface is that the letters are too far apart, and you can change that by doing a little modification here. What the heck? Hold on, let's try again. Yeah, those letters are like really spaced out. It's kind of creepy looking. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a difference there. This is a little bit more detailed than this one. Even though I'm moving it around, I don't know. I just can't seem to get the same effect as the pattern. So we're just going to delete this because we're not really here to create clipping masks. Oh my god, I hate that word. Masks. I feel like a retard every time I say that. Oh, we're going to delete. No, we're not going to delete that layer yet. I'm going to rasterize this layer because I'm going to start making stuff and moving it around and whatnot. Did I not rasterize? Oh my god, I didn't. Okay. Rasterize layer style. You have to rasterize the layer and you have to rasterize the style. Gosh, I need some coffee. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so now onto the Photoshop brushes. So let's get your brush out, and we're going to use the brushes to create the effect that you've seen in this one. I'm going to put this one on the bottom so we can visualize. Okay, so now this, I'm going to lock this layer so we don't accidentally do anything to it. So I'm going to select this layer, and you know it's selected because you're turning it on and off. That's one trick I use if I can't remember. And I'm really bad at naming my layers. I like to do everything at the very end. So this is just going to be a little smoky effect. I'm just going to name it because you're here right now. Effect. We'll just name it 1. And who cares if it's spelled right? We need coffee, right? So it doesn't matter where you put it. Just make sure your brushes are 100%. And it's a little light, so you can create more depth by clicking multiple times. That's what I like to do. And then you're going to create a pattern overlay, and you're going to use the very same pattern, the very same color. And you can move it around if you don't like how it's positioned, but that looks pretty good. So I'm going to rasterize this layer style, and I'm going to move it a little bit over here. And that doesn't look exactly like this one, but it doesn't need to be exactly a replication. We're just making the same exact type of effect. I could actually put this one on the end. That looks pretty good. So let's find this shape for the eye. Okay, so let's create a new layer and let's find that little squiggly shape. I think it's this one. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's the font Amoki that I'm using right now. Okay. So I just did 2 clicks there. I'm going to go to Pattern Overlay and let's move it around a little bit. That looks pretty good. I'm going to rasterize the layer style and you can take an eraser and erase off some of this excess to just make it look a little bit more realistic. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now let's look at the K. We're gonna find that one. Okay, so press new layer. It's just kind of repetitive, and notice I'm being lazy again and I'm not naming these layers, but who cares, right? Nobody cares if I name my layers. Let's make, oh my gosh. Let's make sure that that is the correct, it looks similar. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and triple click here. I don't have my brush selected. Damn it. You did not hear that. Okay, so I think it's this one. Okay, let's go to Pattern Overlay. Move this so we can see it. We just move it around. Oh no. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, right about there. Okay, and just press OK. Now we're gonna get this little bugger over the E and press new layer, and that, let's look at that brush. Possibly, I don't know which one that is. I think it's this one. Sometimes it's really hard to recreate your work. Yeah, I think that's that one. So just gonna click it like 3 times or so. Okay, let's do Pattern Overlay. Can't really see that. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I'm not liking the way this is looking, so I'm just gonna move it around. Actually, I forgot to, whenever you move it around, you gotta rasterize the layers so it doesn't move the pattern. Whoops. Forgot to lock that too. Okay, so I'm just gonna nudge it down, just, oh my gosh. I hate when that happens. Okay, we're nudging down. And we're nudging this way. Okay, I'm gonna get the eraser tool because I don't like, and I'm going to my basic brushes and append, and that will bring me my basic eraser brushes. I'm just going to increase it just a little bit, and I'm just going to delete that off of there. And you don't have to use layer mask for everything. I hate people who do that. I mean, you can use your eraser if you want to. I mean, it's not a crime to use your eraser tool. Sometimes it's good for things like this. Definitely. I think I had it curved a little bit there, so I'm going to just reposition it. You just press Control T to reposition, and you can just erase the edges out on the outline there to kind of give it like a little ink splatter effect on the E. So now we're going to go to D, and that one is a little bit more protruded. So I'm going to go to New Layer, going to look at my brushes here. Trying to think of which one that is. I think it's this one. We'll try it out. I don't know if it's this one, but we can try this. Okay. Oh. I think it's this one. Okay, let's try this one. Okay. And basic brush. I'm going to just delete this area off the edge of the D. And I'm going to go to Pattern, Overlay. And that actually looked really good off the bat. So now I'm going to turn this layer off, and we're just going to have this layer here showing. Now we're going to press Control Shift Alt E, which is going to give me a duplicate copy of everything. So if I turn these layers off, I now have a duplicate that's all merged together. And the reason why that is because we're going to need to, you can delete these layers now. We're going to need to add a filter effect to it from the filter gallery. And you cannot add a filter effect to multiple layers like that. It has to be rasterized. It has to be like one solid object. So we have one solid object now, which is all combined. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to filter gallery, and we're going to use, it's already selected because I've already done this once before. I'm just a little tired. I need some coffee, so that's why like I'm a little rusty right now. So you're going to use the plastic wrap in the filter gallery. You're going to put the highlight strength at 9, the detail at 4, and the smoothness at 7. And press OK. And now you have a really freaking cool text effect that you can use in your next, I don't know, project, whatever that you do as a designer. I have no clue what you do, but if Inked magazine, what the heck? And now my brush is like freaking 4 points. Really? let's see if I can put a style on this. Pattern overlay. You can't see that. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Let's type something out. Magazine. Okay. So, I'm just making a whole sentence here. Well, brand. Okay. Inked magazine. So now you can add a pattern overlay to this, whatever you want to do. There's plenty of them. You can, I don't say use the same one, but you can use different ones here. I think that one looks pretty cool. Yeah. Inked magazine. So I zoom out, zoom back in so you can see the effect there. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool effect. So if you like this tutorial, you know, give me a thumbs up because I appreciate that. And if you watch my videos and want more videos like this, just comment and I will create whatever you guys want to learn in Photoshop. And I'm doing a special right now. I know it's kind of a bummer that you have to pay for these Photoshop patterns, but I did work really hard on them. But I'm doing something very special. If you review the product, you know, if you give me a good review, then I will give you a free product of your choice of equal or lesser value. So you have the option to get something free in my store, and I have quite a bit of good products. And my products are worth it because I don't know if you've ever purchased something on the creative market or you purchase something, digital files, and it's usually like maybe one or two or maybe a few items. My stuff comes loaded. There's a lot of stuff in the pack. So you got 38 Photoshop styles plus you got the digital patterns and over 45 Photoshop brushes. That's a pretty good deal. I'm pricing this about $7.80. It's really not that much. And with this tutorial here, this is a killer typography effect. I've not seen this before. I haven't seen anybody do this quite like what I have. This is my own style. This is something I created from within my brain and my creative mind. So you can feel free to, you know, rip off my ideal and use it however you like, and you can make all kinds of cool stuff with this. You can make invitations, you can make club. This would look really good on a club event. So yeah, so thanks so much for watching my tutorial. I am so sorry I messed up so much. I'm gonna get on that coffee ASAP right after this. And you guys have a great day.